If you have a strong desire towards becoming a successful creator, or you're an entrepreneur who wants to leverage content to grow their business, then there is one key skill that you have to develop. And that skill is copywriting. And one element of quality copywriting is what's very popularly known as the hook. Now, the hook, very simply, is the first interaction with your piece of content. If it's in written format, then it's the title or the headline. If it's the video, it's both the visual or the title on the screen or the first words out of your mouth. If it's an email, it's the subject line. The intention of the hook is to do three things. Beginning of the video is to capture attention, create curiosity, and throughout the video, as we introduce rehooks throughout, it's to hold their attention until the end. Now in this video, I'm going to walk you through the psychology around what makes a strong hook. And a strong hook consists of 4 elements that you need to understand. Now, the reason why it's important for you to understand these is because there's a lot of people giving you templates around hooks. Fill in the blanks, add this. You can ask ChatGPT for a list of hooks. But how are you going to identify what works and what doesn't? And how are you going to be able to break a codependent relationship with someone constantly feeding you resources if you don't become someone who understands the psychology behind how something works? So if you do ask AI, you're able to do so and identify what's good and what's bad. If someone is providing you with templates, you know how to restructure them so they fit your communication and they fit your message. So that's what we're going to cover in the next few minutes. And why should you trust somebody like me? Well, I have been working just shy of a decade in helping entrepreneurs, creators, and thought leaders grow their personal brand and create effective content that gets them in front of the right people so they can serve them, whether that's through their creative or their business. So let's get into it. Now, before I give you the 4 elements that make up a strong hook, we first need to understand the promise that those 4 elements fulfill. Inside of a hook, what you are doing is creating what's called an open loop. Now, an open loop is simply a teaser. Just like in a Hollywood movie, for you to actually buy a ticket and go attend, you need a teaser trailer that gives you a little bit, just enough of what the movie is going to be about, so you feel compelled enough to go and watch it. An open loop is that exact same psychology inside of a hook. You have something that you want to give. The audience has something that they want. The open loop is the bridge between the two. For example, let's say that I'm a fitness coach and you are someone who wants to lose weight. What you want is weight loss. What I have is something to get you there. In my video or in my piece of content, I'm going to tease what it is that can help get you there without giving it right away, so you can stay throughout the content for what's to come. That might sound something like this. If you've been struggling around losing weight and you want to lose around 20 pounds before summer hits so you can fit into that bikini, let me stop right there. That right there is what they want. Then the workout and meal plan that I'm about to walk you through is going to help you get there, and it'll only take you 90 days. So what I have to give is the workout and meal plan. What you want is to lose a certain amount of weight. The open loop now that I've created that you want to close is give me the workout and the meal plan. I need that so I can achieve my goal. So I've created an open loop in your mind that cannot be closed until you finish the entire content, because that's how you'll receive what it is that I have to give. So that's a big core part within the hook for it to be effective for the person on the other side, for you to be able to capture their attention, create curiosity, and hold their attention later on. Yo, if you were enjoying this video so far, it would mean the world to me if you just press the subscribe button so we can get this video in front of more people that need this kind of help and need this kind of education. Other than that, back to the video. Now, the 4 elements, they're modular, meaning you can use some of them, all of them, however you want to. You can mix and match. This is why I love this framework, because I don't have to depend on templates like I said earlier, but rather I can think through the thing that I'm going to be talking about. I know my 4 elements for the hook. After, let's say, I've talked about the whole video, I can then come back and say which of the 4 are the strongest for me to use relative to the thing that I'm discussing. And these 4 elements are known as pods. So because they're modular, you get to make each pod however you want relative to what it is you're talking about. So let's begin with the first one. The first element is the P, which stands for pain or problem. You have to get really familiar with what the pain or problem that the person you're speaking to is feeling, is going through, that they want to overcome and avoid and get out of. Because the more you know the problem, the more interesting it is what you have to talk about is going to be for that other person, because they want to alleviate it. The second is the O, which is the objection. If they have a problem, That means 9 times out of 10, they've tried to solve that problem, but they have a limiting belief around all the different solutions that could help them solve it. Usually people that are stuck in something, they feel like their situation is exceptional. They feel like their situation cannot be overcome without a very custom solution. So they create objections in their mind. You have to be really good at knowing what those objections are. And the earlier you state the objection in your video or in your content, the easier it's going to be for them to lock in with you, because they're like, man, this person read my mind. They know my problem and they know what I think will not work to solve it. Let me see what they have to offer. The third element is the D, which means destination. What is the desired future state that they want to have in their life? So if they have a problem, then there's a destination that they want to be at. The problem talks about their current reality, where they're at now, where they're stuck now. The destination is what they want. So if you remember in the fitness example that I just gave you, their desired future state is to fit into their swimwear by summer. That's the destination. The problem right now that they're having is that they're unhappy with their current weight. Now, the fourth element is the S. The S stands for solution. Now, this one has a little caveat, so stay with me. What is the solution that you are going to give them that takes them from the problem to the destination and overcomes that objection as well? The solution is the only one that you don't want to say explicitly, because the solution is essentially what you're going to give in the rest of the content. So if you're going to use the solution in whatever pods you put together, then that means that's the one that you tease. Notice in my example when I said, if you want to lose 20 pounds and fit into your favorite swimwear by summer, then this workout and meal plan that I'm going to give you is going to help you get there in less than 90 days. The workout and meal plan is the solution, but I don't say what it is because the video then gives it to them. So what I've done now is I've created that open loop in their mind, used specific elements from the pods framework to then create a hook that grabs their attention, creates curiosity, and then I can use mini ones throughout the remainder of the content to keep them engaged. So what I want you to do now that you've watched this video is just write on a piece of paper, PODS. And then think of a topic that you're going to make a piece of content about, whether it's a video or written. And then next to each, write next to the P, what is the pain that they're feeling around this topic? What's the objection that they have around this topic? What's the desired destination that they have around this topic? And then the last one is, what's the solution that you're going to give them to get them to the desired destination? And from those notes, think about a way to say it at the front of the content or the subject line or the header or the title. That is going to be what serves as your hook. Now, best practice that I like to do is I like to create the body of the content first and then come back and do the hook afterwards. This is something I learned in academia, where you write the paper first, then you come back and write the introduction. You don't start with the introduction, because the more you've actually spent in the body of the content, the easier the hook is going to be, because you've essentially done that research in real time if you don't plan your content in advance. Yo, I know I just hit you with a lot of information and gave you a big framework on how to develop your own hooks as you get better and better at content. And I want to just invite you to take a look at my community, where I do this exact same work with coaches, entrepreneurs, and creators across various niches. I'm tremendously committed to this space in a way that I have not been committed in my life. And this is because I'm really tired of the space teaching you how to be like someone else and how they're doing it, but rather teaching you how to embody your own genius, know who you are as a messenger, know how to communicate your message and what you stand for, and do it in a way that is clear and authentic to who you are without needing to depend on templates and frameworks and all that. So it's extracting your brand and then being able to communicate the content in a way that's authentic. So if that interests you and you have resistance over content creation, but you know it's important and you want a way that doesn't feel formulaic but feels authentic, this is a community for you. Be around like-minded peers that are on the same journey. Other than that, back to the video. So now you know the psychological foundation of what makes a good hook and the 4 elements to help you accomplish that. Let's dive into another example that breaks this down specifically so you know how to do it for yourself. Okay, let's say that you are in the wellness space. You are a mindfulness and meditation coach. And let's say that the problem that the person is having is tremendous anxiety every single day when they wake up. So that's the P in your pods. Their objection is they don't have enough time to be able to do all the wellness practices that might get them out of feeling stuck and anxious. The destination that they want is that they want to be able to wake up without anxiety. They want to wake up relaxed. They don't want to be hyperventilating as soon as they wake up. And the solution that you have is a very specific meditation or mindfulness or grounding practice. So now that we understand the components of what your pods would look like, let's put that into the hook. So your video is going to be walking them through this practice to reduce anxiety, especially as soon as they wake up. So I've decided that I'm only going to use the problem, the objection, and the solution. The destination is kind of already in the problem for this example, so we don't really need it. And that's the beauty of this being modular. You get to pick and choose what's best fit for the content that you're making. So it would sound something like this. I'm going to open problem, objection, then solution. If you wake up in the morning and you feel a tightness in your chest, almost like it's hard for you to breathe, I don't want to alarm you, but that's anxiety. And despite your best efforts and listening to the best people out there that tell you have a good morning routine to help overcome that, you're still waking up feeling almost like you're on the verge of a panic attack. Now, I've experienced this myself, and something that's helped me overcome this and actually get rid of it almost completely is a simple 5-minute routine that's not going to take 3 hours of your morning. In this video, I'm going to walk you through that routine to help you overcome this feeling of anxiousness as soon as you wake up. Let's get into it. Okay, that was off the cuff. Thought about it a minute, tried different examples. Some of them clicked, some of them didn't, until I felt like, okay, that was the one that I wanted. And it was all through having my pods laid out. So as you heard, the problem was waking up, feeling a knot in your chest, almost like you can't breathe. The objection was, well, I've tried everything that other people have told me around a morning routine, but it doesn't work because they take too much of my time. They're too overwhelming. In fact, I have more anxiety from trying to keep up with the morning routine than when I wake up with anxiety. And then the last thing was the solution, which is my 5-minute technique that I'm going to be giving in that video to help them overcome that pain that they have. So the destination is implied, right? We didn't have to use the destination in that one because it's waking up without that sense of anxiety. But it was very clear. I'm going to overcome this problem for you. Don't worry about the objection of it being too overwhelming of a morning routine to overcome that. And the solution is very simple. So what I've done is now the open loop in their mind is, if I want to not wake up like this, let me watch this video that's going to give me the 5-minute routine so I can close that loop and be on my way. All right, so that's another example now that you understand pods for you to see how to structure a hook. And I want to leave you with this. I don't like to think of hooks as how to go viral and how to capture attention for attention's sake. I believe that it is your responsibility to become an effective communicator. It is your responsibility, if you have something that helps someone else, for you to be able to convey it in a way that captures their attention, especially since the majority of people are distracted because there's a lot of noise out there. So the better you become at understanding the psychological principles around communication and then leveraging that communication to attract the person that you're meant to help, the stronger creator you will become. So I hope this video was helpful to you. Use this for any future content that you want. Practice it so it becomes literally a mental model that you can use in real time, whether you want to just grab a phone and film a quick piece of content or whether you want to write a quick piece of content so you don't feel like you're having to use a template all the time and not be able to think for yourself. And if this was helpful to you, I want to encourage you to watch this video where I break down the 5 content themes that all content is based around, so you don't have to overthink of like, what's the best format? Should I do a green screen? Should I do a long talking head? Should I do a vlog? Should I do a cinematic? But what every piece of content is grounded in, so you can make the content creation process easier for you and not have to overthink. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.